My name is Kaye-Loni, and I wanted to do a follow-up video for my epilepsy. If you haven't seen my first video, you can YouTube it, or it's on my Facebook. I've gained a lot of friends and followers from my first video and from becoming such a big advocate for epilepsy. Today marks my 2-year anniversary for no seizures, so I'm very excited about that. And a lot has happened since my last video, so I just kind of wanted to let everybody know what's been going on and just lend a helping hand to anybody that's still struggling or just has questions. I know that I've even talked to a lot of mothers and brothers and sisters and things like that, so I know that it can be hard to deal with. It's hard to deal with even when you have been seizure-free for 2 years. My friend Chelsea and I knock on wood every day that we don't still have a seizure. I know mine is genetic, so they say that's the term that they use when they don't really know where your seizures come from. So they say it's genetic. Nobody in my family has seizures. My grandmother has lupus, but my family and my brother and my mom have migraines, but that's as closest to any neurological disorders that anybody in my family has, so they don't really know where it came from. I've had MRIs and CAT scans and things like that. They just don't know. I don't know, I got it when I was 19, and it's been here ever since. So, to start with, since my video, I went to the epilepsy walk in Washington, D.C., and I raised $700 with the help of so many people, and I just really want to take the time to personally thank all of you. I never imagined in a million years that for my very first time raising money for any sort of cause that I would have raised so much. Maybe 100, maybe 200, if that. You guys were great. It was amazing. There's no words. Just thank you for supporting me, for being behind me, for everything. That walk was something that opened my eyes to a lot. I know a lot of people that have epilepsy now, more than I ever thought I would, and I know a lot of the statistics, and I've read a lot of the facts, and I know a lot of the research when you get something like this, and if it's not something that people know a lot about, you want to know a lot about it. So I've done a lot of research, but seeing kids that have it, and seeing babies that have it, and seeing older people that have it, and different forms of it, and people in wheelchairs, and seeing what it could do to you, and thinking that these people are so different than you, but so the same as you, it's crazy to see it in person, and how many people were there, and how many people were there to support the ones that they loved, and the 2 people that were there with me, it was great. It's something that I want, even if I don't get to go every year, I want to raise money for, because it's an amazing experience. If you ever have a chance to raise money for a cause, or to attend something for a cause, I know we have bowling for epilepsy, and there's mud volleyball for things, and there's all sorts of walks and runs, and donations and drives, and if you have a chance, take part, even if it's only once in your life. That's something everybody should do. It's such a great feeling, even if it's not for yourself, if it's for somebody you know or somebody that's passed. It's such a great feeling. But aside from that, moving forward, I've also learned that exercise and being healthy has really made a difference in the way that I feel, not just, in the healthy sense, but in my epilepsy. It's made my brain better. My stutter was almost completely gone. My memory loss was so much better. I ended up finishing my semester with a 3.9 because my memory had improved so much from exercising and from allowing my body to produce its natural chemicals in a way that it's supposed to. For the people that I know that are going to watch this video that have the epilepsy, when you exercise and you're healthy, and you, even if it's only 20-30 minutes a day, and you just get outside and walk and get your blood flowing and your body's able to produce endorphins and then it's natural chemicals, it allows your body to correct the things that it was doing wrong and get the blood flowing properly to your brain, and get the things that maybe it's doing wrong, like the misfires in your neurons and things like that. It keeps everything in place like it's supposed to be. I felt so much better since all the things that were wrong before have bettered since I started exercising. I've even done a lot of research on it, and the people that have exercised as well even said that some of their symptoms decreased a lot, if not completely went away, because they exercised. It just, your body's able to produce things naturally now that it wasn't before. So if you don't do it now, maybe start. It doesn't have to be anything extraneous. Bike, walk, run, just whatever you like to do. Even just getting out and going bowling, something fun, it helps. And the really big thing that I've done since my last video is I started a medication switch. Most of you know that I started a medication switch, but most of you don't know why. It's really big for me, and it's taken a big toll on my life recently. So before school ended, I got a letter from my doctor that said that Topamax had finally gone through the stages of testing that it needed to and gotten a lot of test results back, that it's now a Category D drug. And basically that means that on humans and in animals, it does cause birth defects. Not every time, all the time, but I want to say it was high enough, like 2.5, 2.6%. It causes certain birth defects within the first trimester. Usually within the first 4 weeks of conception, Topamax will cause birth defects. I wasn't very happy with that. I've been on it for 2 years, which means it's pretty well in my system. And so I wanted to switch. I went online and I started looking for drugs that were better, type A and B drugs. It's really hard to find an A or B drug. Those are the drugs that haven't really been proven that they cause birth defects, at least in humans. I would even take a C drug that has proven that it's maybe in animals but not in humans, which is kind of not really what I was looking for, but it's better than a proven D drug. The best drug that I came up with was Lamictal. In my last video I said I wasn't really too fond of Lamictal, but I didn't completely try it all the way before I had given up on it. And at this point I'm 23, and in the next year or two I want to have a kid, and I want to do what's best for the baby, and sometimes that's not always the favorite thing to do, but it's what needs to be done. So I called my doctor and made an appointment, and took a trip to Virginia, and he said that as long as my psychologist said the switch was okay, they would allow me to do it. He is seeing results from Europe and a few from the U.S. that show that Lamictal has a less percentage of birth defects and less serious birth defects than Topamax. And it's all around proven to be better for seizures, for mood swings, depression, things like that. So I went to my psychologist, told her what was going on. She wasn't too excited about the switch, thought maybe it would be better if I just stayed where I was because I was already stabilized, because there's a chance when you switch drugs, when you have seizures, that just because you're good on one drug for so long doesn't mean that your body's going to react to the same way on a different drug, because seizures are caused by chemical imbalance, more or less. It's caused by chemical misfirings in the brain, and it was kind of risky. So she did a little research, decided that the chance was great enough, that Lamictal was better, so we decided to go ahead with it. I was still in school at the time, so we decided, me, my girlfriend, and my mom decided that it was better to wait until I was out of school to do the switch. At the time, I didn't really understand why my mom was so persistent on waiting. But they said, seizures will interrupt school if you start to have them. If any of your symptoms come back from your seizures, then it'll interrupt school. You would hate to mess up your GPA, all these different things. I didn't think any of that could happen or would happen, so I was kind of upset, but I went with my mom because at least she was agreeing to it. Her and my girlfriend were very upset about everything, and they were very hesitant, but I wasn't going to let go. I knew what I wanted to do. I was very determined about what I wanted to do, and I was going to do it. So, in May, I went home. I got all the medication that I needed for the next 6 months, and I came home. It started just like it did when I was diagnosed. You can't drink, you can barely drive, and you got to get a lot of sleep. My stutter has come back. My memory loss is greater. My concentration is horrible. But as far as the switch goes, most people think, oh, it's like any medication. I don't like the sleeping pill. I'm going to try a new one. I don't like Motrin, so I'm going to go to Advil or Tylenol. You can't just do it like that. If you just stop taking one medication and start on another when you have seizures, you will have a seizure. It's almost guaranteed every time. So to start with, I was taking 150 milligrams of Topamax. I didn't stop taking that. I just started on 25 milligrams of Lamictal. I did that for 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, I did 150 milligrams of Topamax with 50 milligrams of Lamictal. Then after 2 weeks, I went to 100 milligrams of Topamax with 100 milligrams of Lamictal. So as I'm slowly decreasing the Topamax, I'm increasing my Lamictal. It has to be done very slowly and in stages so that you're increasing one and decreasing the other so your body doesn't go into shock and so you don't have seizures. Right now, I'm almost done. I'm 2 weeks out from being done. August 1st, I should be completely finished. I'm taking 150 milligrams of Lamictal and 50 milligrams of Topamax. My full dosage will be 200 milligrams of Lamictal and obviously no Topamax. So hopefully all has been well. I've had no seizures. The unfortunate part is about 2 weeks ago, for almost a month, I was probably the worst person that you could ever pick to be around. I was snippy, I was mean, I was angry, I hated everyone and everything. I was completely depressed. I had mood swings every other minute. I thought everybody was against me. I thought everybody hated me. I hated myself. I hadn't been depressed like that since when I first started having seizures. I'm pretty sure my girlfriend wanted to strangle me. And I was crying every other day. It was bad. I made it through, and I just kept telling myself every day that it was the medication, it was going to be better in the end, and it's all for my future. And that's, what got me through that, and the support of the people around me. If I did not have such a strong support system, I don't know that I could do it. And my biggest reason for all this is because there's going to be women out there that need to know what it's going to be like when they need to switch, or if they decide to switch, or that didn't know that they probably should switch, or that might make the decision not to switch. This was just my personal decision. But here I am today at 2 years seizure-free. I could not be happier, and I could not be more thankful. Just my biggest thing is, don't ever forget that this is your life. Live it. We were given this hurdle to jump over. We jump it every day. We're scared every day that we're going to have another seizure, but that doesn't mean that you can't do the things that you want to do. I go jet skiing. I go hiking. I go swimming. I do all these things. I still drive, not as much as I would like, but I do things that I want to do because I want to do them. Have fun with your life. Live it. Don't let epilepsy own you. Own your epilepsy. Have a great day.